Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone podcast. My name is Kathy. The calendar here in the United States now says June 1st, 2025. With respect to the Idaho versus Kohberger case, this also tells us that voir dire, the process of jury selection, will occur next month, specifically commencing July 30th, 2025. We know that because Judge Stephen J. Hippler set that time frame in the October 9th, 2024 pretrial and trial order. Now, although that pretrial and trial order did not say that voir dire would be closed and sealed to the public, unlike other matters that order indicated would be sealed and closed to the public. However, at the final pretrial conference of this matter, which was also set by operation of Judge Stephen Hippler's October 9th, 2024 order, last bulleted item on page 1 of the order, the court, via proclamation from the bench, articulated words to the effect that the voir dire process would not be open to the public. Now, we have not seen an order to that effect as of yet in the more than 2 weeks since the court made that verbal announcement, as he's done with other verbal rulings. He has made other rulings from the bench, as he did back on April 9th, 2025, on certain of the motions in limine, and then reduced his rulings to writing in a court order that followed. We're awaiting that type of a ruling because of a seminal U.S. Supreme Court case that we had reported on in a prior episode of the Indie Zone podcast, which I've included a link in the description to this podcast episode if you would like to listen to that and learn more about the case and learn where you can find that Supreme Court case. It's from the 1980s, and it basically said that for the most part, voir dire is an open proceeding. It should be open to the public. However, there are certain instances where a court is authorized to close it to the public if there's some sort of overriding reason why. So we're looking for the court's order regarding voir dire, if it will in fact be closed and sealed to the public, providing the findings of fact and reasons of law why it is that the court would be sealing voir dire. The other question is, will the jury trial be open to the public? Now, returning to the October 9th, 2024 order, there is no indication that that jury trial would be closed to the public. And in fact, Judge Hippler also rendered a verbal proclamation from the bench at the May 15th Final PreTrial Conference that the jury trial would be transmitted over the court's official channels. In order to learn where that channel is, if you would like to watch the future trial, which is scheduled to commence August 11th, 2025, please type into your search engine of choice the terms Idaho cases of judicial interest. It will lead you to a website that is maintained by the Idaho Judicial Branch, i.e. the Supreme Court, that lists various high-profile cases, including the Kohberger case. Go down to the link that brings you up to the Idaho versus Kohberger case. You will see a link that says Watch Hearings Live. If you hit it when there is not a proceeding that has been approved by Judge Hippler to proceed live, you will see that it's offline when the jury trial happens, assuming that Judge Hippler will allow this to be transmitted over the court's official channels. You'll be able to watch the proceeding there. This will now conclude this episode of the Indie Zone podcast. My name's Kathy. Thank you for joining us today.